with someone I don't wanna know, unless they happen to be at this show. I don't know who fucked up or who stole all your shit, but if they're next to you right now, just run up and hit them. Fuck that crazy bitch, man, I wish she had died. With my best friend, my best man, I crossed suicide. I don't know what's fucked up or what's wrong that I did. You're a grown-up adult getting mad at a kid, so let's bounce down the hatchet and bring it. Wow, if you got some beef with me, fight me right now.
Howdy, folks. Here we are again with the Garret Schuelke podcast. I am your host, your boy, Garret Schuelke. And, folks, today is a very special episode of hashtag Powerful GSP. You see, in the past, many of my guests have themselves been musicians, from Charton Code to Anna Stroshine to the ever-lovable Zach Elmblad. Today, though, we have the pleasure of having, for the first time, a full-on band on the show. This band is a folk-punk duo from Austin, Texas, and they recently released their third EP, Bad Habits, which we're going to talk about today, among other things. Folks, let's welcome Nathan and Tim, whom, when their powers combine, form Fire Ant Season.
Hey, how's it going, Garrett?
Hey guys, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. You know, pretty nice day in Austin, so we can't complain.
Alright, well, we just talked for a few minutes ago, but, yeah, so, things are going good down there, weather-wise, for you guys?
Tornadoes.
Yeah, I was about to mention that, you're okay, right?
Yeah, we're okay. I don't think they actually touched down, it was, kind of close to us.
Yeah, they hit I think it was, I don't think anyone died, but, 20 cars were, destroyed in Round Rock.
Yeah, a couple houses,
north of
too.
Austin, yeah. Not where we're at.
Yeah, thankfully. But, I got pretty scared. When, the rain was coming down, I was on the verge of tears almost, even though it wasn't anywhere close to us. But I was getting pretty, scared there for a bit, so.
Yeah, do you hear about the tornado that dropped down in New Orleans last night?
No.
Yeah, I didn't.
Shit.
Yeah, it hit the lower 9th Ward and, some other places I honestly can't remember the name of, but, yeah, which kind of strikes me as strange since, whenever I think of NOLA, I think of, hurricanes.
I actually thought it was too... I mean, I'm no weather expert. I didn't even know, tornadoes hit there. But, yeah, that's horrible.
Wow. So, was everyone okay? Were there any...
There's damage, one dead so far. Yeah, but, well, I'm glad to hear you guys are doing alright.
Yeah, thankfully. Fingers crossed.
Alright, so, let's get right on down to it, guys. You are Fire Ant Season.
Yes, that is us.
And, how would you, define yourselves?
How would we define ourselves? That's a good question. So I guess kind of our signature thing, I guess we haven't put a trademark or anything on it, but we like to say half-hearted melodies and full-hearted tragedies.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that kind of says that the songs aren't that good, but we're kind of putting everything we have into the lyrics, and so I would say that would kind of describe us pretty well.
I mean, I think the melodies are all right. I mean, if I had to think of the signature sound to anyone that doesn't listen to folk punk, would be that generally just depressing lyrics, but happier music to contrast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say that.
Well, I certainly enjoy the music, and
Thank you.
I think you're actually I can't tell whether you guys are being too humble or too hard on yourselves when you describe the songs as not very good.
Good. We want that ambiguity, and we want to keep you on your toes as much as possible.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that's a good strategy, actually. Keep going with that.
Yeah. So I guess also like the other thing that we I guess could consider like a trademark, but we haven't trademarked. Well, I guess it's only on the Facebook page that says this, but it just says self-loathing and stuff.
Actually, with folk punk in general, that's actually a pretty apt description of the genre.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's basically what the genre kind of hinges on, I would say.
At least half the bands, maybe.
Yeah, there's all these. I mean, it's pretty weird as we're very much aging out of the scene at this point, I would say. But it's there's all these different generations of folk punk, so there's probably kids doing stuff now that we don't even know exactly because we haven't been to many shows in 3 years because of COVID. And then you have the origins in the 90s. So yeah, it's there's all these subgenres, and I guess we're in the try to keep the music a little bright even if the lyrics are dark. And then there's all sorts of variations of that from other bands.
So would you say that we're in the fourth wave of folk punk? Would we be the fourth wave?
Sure.
The fourth or the wave, I guess I would say.
Honestly, as big of a folk punk fan that I am, I really haven't paid too much attention to waves per se. So I honestly can't comment on that.
Yeah, I never hear anyone refer to it as waves, but I feel there's something there, I guess. Do you listen to a lot of folk punk or?
Oh yes, I do actually.
Okay, just seeing because it's such a esoteric topic of.
Yeah. Well, I like it, and this seems very simple actually, but I got into it because it combines two of my favorite genres, punk and folk, thus folk punk. Simple enough. And a lot of it that just gets me is a lot of the lyricism, a lot of the camaraderie between the bands, and I guess depending on which ones, the lifestyles of some.
Yeah.
Oh, and of course there's politics. I'm a leftist, and a lot of it is left.
I love the people who say keep politics out of punk, because it's that's basically what formed it, and it just blows my mind that.
Ah, jeez, those guys stink. Actually, I'm on a 24-hour ban on Facebook right now because
You tried to put the politics back in punk, and they stopped you.
No, it's better than that. I follow Reagan Youth's fan page. For folks who don't know, Reagan Youth is a legendary 80s hardcore punk band who are still going. I saw them last year, and they were awesome. And, well, I guess because their name is Reagan Youth, they just get, a deluge of, right-wingers and, conservative punks on there.
Like Reagan? I'm a youth.
Yeah, that fits me perfectly. I'm Reagan Youth. So of course there's, some posts they made and they got the same garbage. And on one guy who was like, hey now, I'm more center-right. Why can't I be a Reagan Youth fan? It's just music. So I commented, dude, no one cares. Just go listen to Screwdriver and fuck off already. And this morning I got 24-hour ban for harassment and bullying.
That's how you got the ban? That's
Yeah.
not even bad.
Yeah, you see, on Facebook, you cannot tell Nazi punks to fuck off.
No, yeah, I'm surprised. It seems like, you're doing the Lord's work. It seems like it's like it should be right below that threshold. Yeah, but it is funny, though, because I see stuff like that all the time where it's like, people are like, oh, I have all these really bad ideas, like, but, like, will y'all all accept me? And it's like, well, like, you're the one coming out saying what you believe. Like, they can't just believe it. They have to have everyone's approval, too.
Yeah, or they try to go, like, the apolitical route, because they know that no one likes their shit. So it's like, oh, hey, guys, no, I'm not about politics. Can't we all just get along?
Yeah.
Then you look on their Facebook page and, oof.
Yeah.
Actually, wow, before we begin formally, yeah, that's a good question I just thought of. Are there any right-wing folk punk bands or musicians that you know of?
I know there's this Facebook group. It's called the Anti-PC Folk Punk. And I feel like that's where you would find like the right-wing folk punk. If it
Really?
Yeah, I think the answer is almost definitely, but I could not necessarily name one because, especially because folk punk, it's such a low barrier of entry. It's like once you're posting, I guess, a song on YouTube or something with your acoustic guitar, you're playing folk punk if it's the genre. And I think there's a lot of people, people I've met like throughout my life in punk scenes that they just hold like a lot of really right-wing views but never think about that they in fact do believe all these right-wing things. And it's like it can go either way, like they confront it and then do away with it, or they like really double down and embrace it. I think both like Nate and I have certainly seen people in the scene that believe these things, and having to be confronted with it, they kind of just exit from.
I don't see them like really lasting long, but it is kind of funny to think of.
No, absolutely.
But you can definitely find some right-wing songs if you search for a little bit.
Oh yeah, I'm sure I can, but thankfully I have vastly better things to do.
Yeah.
Also, I like that. Also, reminds me of the guy, I think it's the drummer of System of a Down.
Oh, Jesus Christ, that guy.
And that is a perfect example of that, because it's like, he's in a band, and like, they like actively sing against his views. And so I just don't understand like how that works.
Well, it's especially awkward because I think he's Sergei's brother-in-law too.
Oh,
I didn't know that.
That's bad.
They're like, he's just got to be in the band.
Yeah. Also, that one guy from Nirvana, not Dave Grohl, the other member. I guess he's also a right-wing Trump guy.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Surely not Kurt Cobain.
No, go back in time and convince Kurt Cobain to turn his gun the other way.
So I'm trying to think of who. No, it's weird when you said the other guy, Nirvana. It never occurred to me that I have absolutely no clue who I guess it's the bassist of Nirvana is.
Yeah, I forget his name.
God, I can't remember it either. Oh well.
Yeah.
Oh well. Well, we're not talking about him. In fact, we're talking about you guys. Fireman season.
Yeah.
So let's get back on topic.
Yeah.
All right. The Bad Habits EP. It came out earlier this month. It's available on Bandcamp right now. And yeah, I personally very much enjoyed it. My two favorite tracks are Depression's One Hell of a Drug Imbalance and Privilege Blues. Those are my two favorites so far.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
I'd
but
say, I like the two that I like the best too. like have all the 5. And that's kind of like kissing my own ass when I say that, but you know.
Yeah, I'll give it a few more listens, and then I'll ultimately then decide which one's my favorite, because there can only be one.
Just like Highlander.
Exactly. That's how I view all my music. Just listen to everything until there is one Highlander song. Okay, guys, and I was listening to the EP, and throughout my listen, there was one question that kept popping up in my mind, and it's the most important one, so let's get right to it.
Okay.
Alright, how influenced were you by the smash hit song Bad Habits by multi-platinum modern-day legend Ed Sheeran?
Oh, man. Oh, no, it's funny because I thought you were about to a reference that I would have no idea. I was like, I don't know any songs named Bad Habits, but then when you said Ed Sheeran, I was like, oh, yeah, I remember that song. Yeah.
Didn't even know that. Damn, I thought it was the original.
Yeah. So maybe, Nate does all the lyrics, I just do the mandolin, but I'd heard the song, so maybe it was in my subconscious coming up some of the mandolin parts. But how about you, Nate?
Well, so I'm curious, like what does the song, like what's, I guess, the subject matter of the song?
Oh, it's a dance pop song about Ed Sheeran's nightly habits when he goes out, and how his bad habits lead him to the one he loves.
Yeah, it's a weird song. I like Ed Sheeran a lot less than I like the average person on pop radio. I think it's among his better songs.
Well, I guess I'll be the first one to break it here, but I do have info that Ed Sheeran is suing you guys for copyright.
That would be good.
That would put us on the map, honestly.
Yeah.
That would be great press.
I know, I thought about that too. I'm like, well, this could go wrong in a lot of ways, but there is some good stuff out of this.
Yeah.
Man, I hope he does. If you're listening yet, please sue us.
Alright, okay, bad joke aside. So, the Bad Habits EP, how did it come about?
So I guess the first song on it, that's called Get a Life, we had that song probably since 2014.
I mean, yeah, like the first year we were a band.
Yeah.
We had that song.
So, we first started back in 2013, and that was, one of the earlier songs that I wrote. And I think we just forgot to put it on, the album or the EP. And I was like, well, we got to put it somewhere. And so I just decided to put it as the first track so it could kind of be, hopefully be, a transition into, the old stuff into the new stuff. And then I would say, the majority of the songs on it, 2 or 3 of the songs I wrote in 2018, 2019, and I just, sat on them. And so it was basically just kind of, combining these songs that, we had, and also just, trying to come up with some other songs, trying to remain relevant still.
Well, that song, Get a Life, we probably played, the first show we ever really played as, the band or whatever. And then the other 4 songs, I guess Nate had written, but we never played before, starting the process of recording the CP. Yeah. So they were all kind of, late, very late in the game. If we ever play shows again, we'll play those.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, okay, I don't know if that answer nullifies this question then, but aside from your split with fellow punkers Ludlow, which, if I recall right, it said that split is about life under late capitalism.
Yes.
Yeah, have you guys ever recorded a project that had a specific theme for it? Like how this one is about Actually, I got it right here from the description. This EP addresses those bad habits and captures them as sort of catharsis to hold them responsible for their actions, to hopefully learn and grow from them.
And so I was trying to create a theme, but honestly, if you take any of our songs, I think you could put them in the frame of the lens bad habits, because I think that's just kind of my like how I come up with songs and like the subject matter.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I kind of just have the songs, and then I try to draw comparisons from there. But no, I don't think I actually go and like try to write songs in a certain theme. I just I guess like throw up psychologically on a piece of paper, and then I go from there.
All right, gotcha. And how was the recording process for this EP?
Sucked.
Worst of anything we've ever recorded.
Yeah, we actually tried on this one, and like I got like a fancy condenser mic, and like I tried to to learn how to mix and all that. It was just a very drawn out, painful process, and a lot of it was just kind of a spend not doing anything with, because I was dreading working on it. I feel like that's probably a lot of artists.
When COVID had such a factor that I don't think we planned the EP until COVID had already taken off. But it's like, I didn't go to Nate's to record. I think I was kind of working on my own parts. But it was probably right after I got like vaccinated, I think. And then I went over, and then I could record quite a bit. And then like the next wave of COVID happened, so we kind of isolated again before the EP was done. And then after that period of isolation, then we finished up the EP. So it was extremely protracted.
Yeah, definitely.
Actually, that reminds me of a meme that I shared recently. It's a Leonard Cohen quote. And, well, it's a long one, so I really can't quote it exactly, but, Cohen...
But it fits on a meme?
What?
But it's a long quote, but it fits on a meme?
Yeah, exactly. It's, you know, it's a typical type where, like, they have a picture of the person, then they put the quote on it. But, Cohen did talk about, dreading having to, like, go to a project that you're working on, but then like some mythical force draws you into it.
I wish that would have happened.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking of.
So that's not what happened to you guys at all, then.
What's that?
That's not what happened with this record at all.
No,
Yeah,
it was painful.
It felt really forced.
I think, like, when I came up with the songs, that wasn't as forced. But yeah, trying to record it was definitely forced.
Oh,
I mean,
boy.
I'm happier with how it turned out than probably anything else we recorded. So it wasn't like, I'm mad about the results or whatever. It was just probably the most painful to record of all the stuff.
I'm actually kind of feeling bad for having you guys on now, because, I don't want to bring up these bad memories.
Oh, now it feels good though because it's over.
Just like it says.
All right, and so it's been out for nearly a month now. How has the reception been?
It's been pretty good, I would say. I'm definitely surprised at like how many people shared the post. Where I was like, I'll give you free stuff if you share this post. And it got like 40-something shares, so I was like, oh, that's, pretty good. Yeah, I would say it's, pretty solid for having, been out of the game for, I guess, 2 years now. So.
Yeah, it feels weird because in the past, whenever we recorded something, I mean, I don't know about Nate, but I didn't think too much of it because we would just be playing shows, and that's when you would talk to people and get an idea of what you were doing. And it's almost like the recording was just incidental, whereas now things are more isolated, and haven't quite like restarted yet, so it's more like the recording is literally everything we are as a band. So it seems like so much more is loaded into it.
Yeah. And also we had a show planned on April the 9th, I believe, and I was really excited for it. But I ended up getting 2 of my teeth extracted on that day.
Oof.
And it kind of just... it seems like the past, 4 or 5 good shows that we've had, some shit has happened. Either, I got COVID, or, for this next one, I'm getting, 2 teeth extracted. And it just feels like there's some, higher power that's,
stopping us.
Yeah, that's, trying to fuck with us to not play shows.
Jeez. Oh, wow. That is bad, having God against you. I will say that.
Damn God.
Yeah, I didn't think about it until just now, but you're right that I think 4 of the last 5 shows we were playing, some unexpected event occurs and we don't play it.
Yeah.
Well,
there was one that we were supposed to play with Days and Days too, and I was really excited, but I got COVID.
oh, bummer.
Yeah.
And that would have been awesome too. I've been wanting to see Days and Days for the longest time.
Escape from the Zoo too. I saw them, I guess last week, 2 weeks ago. I think last week. But they put on a terrific show.
Well, gentlemen, since God is obviously against you, may I suggest a pact with Satan, if you haven't made one already?
We should do that. We haven't done that yet. We need to get a pact with Satan going.
Alright, so, actually you just mentioned a little bit about I guess you want to call it a promotion campaign with the free stickers, which, thank you again for sending them to me. No,
oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I plan on slapping one of them on my new suitcase, in fact.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, but, so far the sticker campaign, anything else that you have planned to, promote the EP, like shows, perhaps a tour?
We should have had, a release show, but we didn't. We're kind of thinking a tour possibly in September. I haven't done anything to get that going though, but I probably should. Other than that, I feel like we've done all the promotion that we had planned for it.
All right. Actually, what are COVID restrictions like where you're at? Especially when it comes to performing shows.
Well, we're in Texas, so
Abbott doesn't get
there you go, self-explanatory.
yeah, I don't think there's been anything approaching COVID restrictions in at least a year and a half. I think early on there was a little bit of stuff, but it's pretty much you choose your own risk type situation.
Choose your own adventure.
Yeah.
Does it vary from venue to venue, or?
I would say that, even you're not even allowed to require a mask at a venue, so
Really?
it really doesn't matter. Well, I feel like the show thing, I can't fully blame COVID. For a long time, we just weren't doing shows because we weren't trying to get other people exposed or expose yourself to COVID. Certainly at this point, I'm not concerned anymore, but it's hard to get the momentum back. And it also feels like a lot of the infrastructure for smaller bands, it's just kind of, things are still pretty low level right now.
Yeah. And hopefully they stay that way. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed on that one. But here in Michigan, as you know, we had one of the toughest lockdown restrictions. So much so that our governor almost got kidnapped for it.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, and actually her plotters are currently on trial. And boy howdy, it's been fun reading those news stories.
Yeah, what a bunch of dickheads.
Yeah, basically, to kind of sum it up a little bit so far, basically the plotters just would get really drunk and high, then they would come up with all these fantastic scenarios. like one of them wanted to kidnap Whitmer at Mackinac Island with like a Black Hawk helicopter. And keep in mind, these are your typical Northern Michigan hicks. So,
I was gonna say, how'd they get access to that?
Not much. All right. Okay. Actually, guys, before we begin the next part of this interview, we got a commercial break. In fact, and it's from someone that I never would have expected. So we'll be right back. Hey, folks, Johnny Hobo here. And you know, this may sound like an understatement coming from me, but life is hard. And you know, when I'm sitting there wondering why everyone's getting drunk and laid but me, or harder questions, like why my heart won't stop beating, something I've been pondering since 1987. But you know what I do? I listen to the Garret Schuelke podcast. Yep, you know, whiskey used to be my kind of lullaby, but I replaced that with the Garret Schuelke podcast, where writer Garret Schuelke interviews friends, acquaintances, and favorite people. Everyone from the great musician Charlton Code to the folk punk band Fire Ant Season, or the ever-lovable Zach Elmblad. You know, I just can't get enough of these episodes, folks. You know, it's better than doing acid, it's better than drinking whiskey, it's better than smoking crack while watching 12-year-olds buy weed. And you know what? You can listen to it for free in a variety of places. From YouTube, to Internet Archive, to Anchor, to iHeartRadio, to Breaker, to Podcast Addict. Hell, even Spotify, which, yeah, I still don't think you can get my music on there. Maybe you can listen to some Wingnut Dishwashers Union and shit like that. But, yeah, anyway, that's me, Johnny Hobo, telling you to listen to the Garret Schuelke podcast. Listen and download wherever you can hear podcasts. And I am Johnny Hobo, I am off. Oh, one more thing I would like to add. You know that whole joke about how if you hop one train, you've hopped more trains than Johnny Hobo? Yeah, well, it's funny and true. Anyway, Johnny Hobo signing out. And we're back, and wow, what a wonderful commercial that is. I'm really one thing I'm really glad about in this 5th season of hashtag Powerful GSP is that we're getting so much recognition that all these famous celebrities that are in no way my impersonations are gladly giving their free time to help advertise this show. You know, it's a beautiful thing to behold.
I didn't even know that Pat came out of retirement.
Yeah, so he did, huh?
Yeah, that's incredible.
It was a good cause.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait, god damn it. I thought you were being for real. God, I belong to a Facebook group called Sounds Like a Pat the Bunny lyric, but okay.
Yes, I've seen that one.
Yeah, and like, half the content on there is just like, hey, I heard Pat's coming back, or hey, where's Pat now? And then
Just to get the interactions.
yeah, and then people like getting mad saying that you're invading his privacy by asking a question, so it can get lame.
Think he's out living his best life.
Yeah, I don't know, I think he's like a computer programmer now or something.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
All right, guys, second part of this interview, we talked about your Bad Habits EP, out now on Bandcamp, and, but hey, let's take a little trip back to the past, shall we?
Sure.
Yeah, when did Fire Ant Season form?
So we started back in 2013, and I was living in Tyler, Texas, and Tim was living in Austin. And we had always tried to come up with different projects and stuff, since college. I would say since 2008, 2009. And I guess we kind of just Tim got me onto folk punk. He showed me HAJ, And at first, I thought it sounded terrible. Then I kept listening, and I was like, "Wow, this is speaking to my soul."
Do you remember what song or albums it was?
It was what's the one that
People who eat people are the luckiest people in the world.
Yeah,
it was on that album, but it was the Poppy Tarts.
Yes. That's a good impression, actually.
No, I mean, it's funny that you say that because I've never been a very big AJJ fan, but I think I just incidentally showed you them at some point.
Yeah, you tried a couple of times.
Yeah,
with them,
and I'm not like an anti-fan. Like I enjoy them, but I've never like you certainly are a way bigger fan than I am.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
I enjoy them, and I've seen them once perform, and much to my surprise, when they did perform, they did not play Survive or what's that one? No, there's a bad guy in everyone, no matter who we are.
Oh yeah,
that thing.
yeah,
right.
Yeah, that one. There's someone in your head that wants to fucking strangle you.
yeah. They skipped over the classics.
Yep, they did not play those two classics.
I do wonder if it's like, I mean, I think I've listened to all their albums up to maybe the last one, and I do wonder if they're just like, it's almost like as you start to change over time, you're like, you know what, like, I'm not going to give people the old stuff. You gotta listen to the newest incarnation of the band.
Yeah, they did that early on with their songs, like, I think it was Lady Killer. Yeah. Like, they stopped playing that one just because it was, I guess, like, Sean didn't, like, feel that way, like, anymore. He said he was just trying to be, like, an edgy teen, like, when he came up with those songs. And so I guess it's just kind of the same thing happening again.
Yeah, I know, and it makes sense. If you're embarrassed about your old material, no matter how much someone likes it.
I can respect that. And I can also understand, like, not wanting to play all the big old hits when you got all this new shit going on. Yeah. I mean, that kind of plagued Bob Dylan for, like, his early career. You know, he'll have, like, this new electric stuff, then someone in the audience just shouting, "Blowing in the wind."
Yeah, like, I heard, like, Maggie's Farm, the legends are to be believed. Everybody, like, walked away at the folk festival that he played it at for the first time. Yeah.
Actually, I really don't like that song in general, but I do like that version of it with the Paul Butterfield Blues Band. Mm-hmm. The album version, I skip over that one.
No, it's funny. It's like there's this point where I stopped liking Bob Dylan, and it's a little after Maggie's Farm, but there's still a point where I don't like a lot of the newer material.
Actually, I think you really like what he's doing now. You hear about it?
I haven't. I probably haven't listened to at least the last two albums he did.
Oh, this isn't music related. It's better than that. Bob Dylan is recently been revealed, and I'm not joking here. I'm really not. Bob Dylan has recently been revealed to be behind a secret NFT project.
Oh my god. Alright. There's something kind of poetic about it, though. That he's still alive and also somehow getting into NFTs.
Oh, jeez.
Oh.
Like,
yeah.
People are really trying for that. Like, people really want NFTs to take off.
Yeah, I know. Jeez.
Just imagine, like...
Don't do that, guys, please. Just keep putting out EPs. Just don't do NFTs.
If we do, you have all the permission to completely disassociate from us as much as you want, if we do get into that. Like, just act like you never talked to us. This interview never happened.
Well, no, if that does happen, I'm just gonna have to harass you guys by repeatedly screenshotting your NFTs until you block me.
Please do.
Yeah.
If we ever get to that point.
Alright, talk about how Fire Season formed. How about you two? How did you guys meet?
It's probably... I was trying to come up with how many years before Fire Season, but we both met in college, I think our freshman years, We were in a couple classes together, and we both surfed. We went to Corpus Christi, which is like a town along the Texas coast. So after we met in class, we just started surfing for a while, and then would occasionally play music together. And I think, like Nate mentioned, we kind of like tried to start like one or two different bands before Fire Ant season, but for different reasons. We had to have like a practice space, and it was quite a drive. We had a drummer that wasn't great at keeping time, so we never played any shows with that band. And I think eventually we would just go to each other's places and just play like on acoustic guitars the music that we were doing for the other band, which was more of like a punk band or like an indie band that was electric. And then I graduated college and I got a job in like Louisiana, and I think we still hung out, but we didn't really do any music thing for a few years. And then eventually, probably 5 or 6 years after we met, Nate sent me some songs on his phone, and I bought a mandolin just for fun, and I would come up with mandolin parts and send them back to him, and that was our first EP, which was before we were really a band. I think he just wanted to put a name on it, and I guess that would be officially when we started. And we probably didn't play our first show for at least a year after that, because we weren't even living in the same city at the time.
That was like 2 years, I think, right?
Yeah, maybe 2 years after that.
Actually, I'm sorry to interrupt, but what is that hooting sound? Like, are you sitting next to an owl?
Yeah, that is an owl. We're outside on Nate's back porch. And
Oh, really? It really is an owl.
Owl hooting in the distance.
Is it super loud? Like, is it...
Yeah.
Like,
No, it's not super loud, but I can pick it up enough where it's like, what the fuck?
The sounds of nature are coming through.
I mean, we're like in the middle of the city, so it's not too much, but the owl is definitely going strong over there.
I actually think it's just like a pigeon or something.
Well,
Pigeons make that noise, or like the... I mean, that sounds like an owl, what I just did, but...
alright. Well, it's cool then, because we need some really good content on this podcast, and I think bird noises will do.
Oh, yeah.
So are you curious to know how we got the name Fire Ant Season?
Indeed, I am. Please explain. How did you come up with the name Fire Ant Season?
I'm sorry, was that a question that you had? Did I just...
yeah, it is.
Oh, damn, I'm sorry.
Nah, it's good, dude.
Going with the flow of questions that you had originally planned. And,
Nah,
sorry.
it's good, dude. Don't worry about it.
Kiss my own ass here.
Alright, so how did the name come about?
So it's really stupid. Like, I don't even know why I asked.
Yeah, I'm surprised you were excited, because I don't think the story's that good.
It's
but
really
you wanted to tell it, so go for it.
So, like Tim and I had been, I think we have like 2 or 3 songs at this point, and I would always take my bike to I would always take my bike to the Walmart that was close to me, and I would in fact steal from this Walmart. So that song isn't like fake or anything.
Fun history fact, folks. The song he's referring to is called "Steal from Walmart," and it was featured on episode 7 of the Garret Schuelke podcast.
And so, and like, I probably subsisted from stealing from Walmart for
5 years.
Yeah, like at least 5 years.
God damn, half a decade.
Yeah, for a long time. But I got off my bike because I had to cross this area, and I stepped in. I stepped in a fire ant bed, and that's how I came up with the name.
Wait.
I sent it to Tim, and I was like, "How about this?" He was like, "Yeah, that's cool."
So fire ants. I'm from Michigan, so I imagine it's like a huge mound and like red angry ants that attack you.
All right, do y'all have any ants up in Michigan?
Oh yeah, we got I guess regular brown ants and large black ants.
Your classic.
Nice.
Yeah, but like nothing as exotic as fire ants.
Yeah, they are from, I think it's South America, and they're invasive here, and they've killed off most of the other ants.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Why'd you let me take that name?
Now, even with climate change, it's still too cold up here, I think, for them to survive that long.
Yeah.
All right, so what were the first days of Fire Ant season like? Like when you first started recording and performing together?
So I guess for the first 2 years, we didn't ever really play any shows or anything. It was just basically sending audio files back and forth to each other. And did you put the songs together? Because you had Audacity?
Yeah, I guess to your question, it's almost like two places in time. It's like the origin is like Nate's living in Tyler, Texas, going to medical tech school.
Yeah, MLT.
Yeah, while I'm living in Austin, and he would just record stuff on his iPhone, send it to me, and then I would take his audio files and just add a mandolin part or like vocals on my computer, and then send it back to him. And I think that was it.
Yeah.
We didn't really do anything with it, and once we had 5 songs together, we put our first EP up. And then the second part, probably 2 years later, when you moved to Austin. And I think Nate started playing open mics kind of around town doing songs. I never really showed up to any of them. I don't know if I was even invited. But no, but then I remember one time you're like, oh, this open mic wants us to play, or wants you to play like 4 songs instead of 2 songs, which is like the featured position at this open mic. And then when you told me, you're like, do you want to play it? And I tried to come up with parts to the songs, and I guess that was our first show as a band.
Yep, open mics.
Yeah, we touched upon it a little bit, but what's the music scene like in Austin? Does it have like a folk punk or just an in general punk scene?
I would say it's pretty sizable. I guess you could almost say that it's kind of oversaturated. But I guess like ever since the pandemic.
Not the punk scene, though.
No, not the punk scene.
The music scene in general is, but I would say the punk scene's smaller than most towns in like Texas. But there's like a lot of bands in general here.
Yeah, I would say like the local hub is probably Kick Butt Coffee, and that's also the place that I would do open mics at. And so that's kind of, I would say, like one of like the biggest punk scenes for Austin.
All right, and hold on a sec, please. Still got that winter cold, even though it's transitioning to spring. Sorry about that. All right, so so what was the reception to Fire Ant season within folk punk as a whole? I guess the scene in general.
So I guess like when I first kind of introduced myself into the scene, it was to the DIY folk punk community chat board on Facebook, and I posted, I think it was Newfound Dystopian the first time, and they got like 50-something like reactions to it, and so I was like, whoa, that's amazing. And I would say that's probably
that's as good as it ever got.
That's as good as it ever got.
I mean, I think that and like when I think of us playing shows in Austin, especially the first few years, it was always in the context of, I guess we were liked enough to get shows at a lot of different places, but not because of anything to do with like a folk punk or punk scene. You know, we were usually opening for bands that weren't a part of those scenes.
Yeah.
It's almost like we were separate of it, because I think there's not a big folk punk scene in Austin.
Yeah, any particular bands of note that you've performed with or opened for?
I would say Walter, etc. That was a big one.
Yeah.
I
who
guess
is it?
they're kind of interesting.
Yeah. I mean, we opened up for Escape from the Zoo in Houston.
Oh yeah, it was outside.
Yeah.
And then we left right after. We're such dicks.
No, you're not dicks. You're rock stars.
Yeah, we had to leave. I forget why.
Well, I think. Well, we were in Houston for the day, and had to be back in Austin the next day. So it's a question of do we leave at 11 o'clock at night now while I can still stay awake, or do I sleep in the car?
And that was the session that we had with Brandon, right?
Yeah.
With the camera.
But I feel like the real story is we haven't. I'm trying to think of the biggest possible band that we opened for, and it's hard to think of a household name there.
Well, you almost opened for Days and Days. Does that count?
I think we almost did, but that was when Nate got COVID.
Yeah. Have we ever? I don't think we've ever opened for them before, have we?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think that should count.
Yeah, we were supposed to.
So close, yeah.
Okay, and well, I noticed this too when I was looking at your Bandcamp. I was looking over again at the descriptions, and usually it's just not you two in the studio. You usually have 2 or 3 other musicians with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that by choice for a studio album, or do you also have other people perform with you on stage?
So we have had other people perform with us, but I don't think we've ever had anyone who's performed with us on stage who's performed with us in the studio. Because I don't think Corbin has ever performed with us on stage.
No.
Yeah. But yeah, we try to, I guess, try to have different instruments, for the tracks, just so it's not, all the same thing, we try to make it different, as much as possible. But yeah, I think having, different instruments is, pretty cool. Once they have a good sound.
Alright. Okay, this is a question I wanted to really ask too, because my first exposure to you guys, and I think I got this right, was like I said, back in episode 17, I featured your song "Steal from Walmart," and I believe it was when I was on one of the folk punk groups on Facebook. I was asking hey, I'm looking for songs to feature on my podcast. If anyone would like to have any suggestions, or if they have some that they would like to let me use, let me know. And I believe it was one of you guys that posted that.
That was probably me.
And ultimately it was. Yeah, what I wanted to ask was, how you guys hook up with Ludlow for the split that you did with them?
So I knew Kirby. We were Facebook friends, and I sent a message to them, and I asked if they wanted to do a split, because we had, I think it was 3 or 4 songs that we were just sitting on, and I was like, we should do a split, because that's what people in the folk punk scene do, and every other scene.
Gotta do at least one.
Yeah, it's cool to do splits. And so I just reached out to Kirby, and I asked them if they felt like it. And they said yes, obviously, because I think they had 5 songs that they were sitting on. And yeah, and actually a fun fact is that I told Kirby, so what do you think of calling the split Capitalisms? And they said no. And I was like, yeah, you're probably right. That's a dumb name.
A very definitive answer.
Yeah, I didn't really support it either. How did it end up being that?
So Kirby got back to me, and it was, I forget their name. Who's the other, the singer for Ludlow?
I don't know.
I forget their name. But they said that it was cool, and so I think they influenced Kirby to accept it. So that's...
Yeah, I've always hated the name because it's capital isn't the opposite of capitalism. It's even if it was capitalism, and then versus capital isn't. It just seems like a
Wait,
weird.
how? Capital is?
Well, no, but I mean, obviously, capital is isn't a word, but it's almost like capital isn't really the play on words that I think it's like meant to be.
Isn't?
But it's fine.
Isn't
It's fine. But I'm fine. I don't stay up at night thinking about it.
we had someone who said it was like they harassed us when we posted about it. I forget their name, but they were like, "That's so fucking stupid. Like y'all are fucking what? Like are y'all like 15 years old?" And I replied back with a meme. It was like the one where it's like, I think Donald Duck with Mickey Mouse. And, like, it's some philosophical statement.
Yeah, the one where he ends it with like, surely you do not want to die like a dog.
Yeah, that one. That's exactly the one.
What was this guy like? What was this poster? One of those people like who says shit like, "Oh, you criticize capitalism, yet you use iPhone. Strange, huh?"
No, he definitely was like that. He was like a
God
comic
damn it.
wrestler in the folk punk group back in the day, but I forget his name.
I should just come claim that was me, Nate.
Is
Sorry.
that you?
Oh god, libertarian folk punkers.
Exactly.
All right, so so we talked about the beginnings, and we've talked about your most recent EP, Bad Habits. Has there been any career highlights that you'd like to share? You know, any good stories?
Let me think about that.
It seems really sad if we don't. There's like no highlights over this.
There's gotta be.
I feel like all the highlights are only highlights in retrospect, where it's like. I think eventually I learned that like the times I feel like the most misery and pain from like playing shows and like going places will be the ones that I remember fondly. And so there's like a silver lining, I guess, on the. I mean, I would say like the tour went on like 3 years ago. I got this. It was almost right before COVID, incidentally, but we went on like a 1 week tour just around Texas and Oklahoma and New Mexico and Colorado. And I mean, I got this horrible tongue infection. This is really not. It's just the end of the tour. I come home and like I can't eat anything. My tongue is all screwed up.
That's right.
And I finally like go to the doctor, and the doctor is like, "This is very strange. Like you should get this cultured because I don't know what is on your tongue." And it was basically some fairly rare form of fungus that only people with like immune system problems get because of how much the tour had ruined my immune system. But I always look back on that part of my life fondly and all the events that led up to that tongue infection.
I know, it's something you look back fondly now that we're living in the COVID era.
Yeah, it was almost quaint. You know, I couldn't eat for a couple weeks, anything besides like liquid stuff, but felt like I got to live the dream for just a while.
Or die the nightmare.
Yeah.
Is there a difference between dreams and nightmares, gentlemen?
I guess it depends.
All nightmares are dreams, but not all dreams are nightmares.
Ah, there you go.
So I did think of a single point that I would say is the highlight. We were playing Compost Heap. It's a festival that's in Denver, Colorado. And we played our song Fuck Roseanne. And like after the first verse...
Roseanne was there.
No, Roseanne was not there. That would have been cool.
You're talking about the comedian Roseanne Barr, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Okay, you're not talking about someone cool like the musician Roseanne Cash.
No, not like that.
We've got nothing against Roseanne Cash.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
Roseanne Barr. It was a song that was like originally for her. It was like praising her, and then all that stuff happened with the Ambien and the racist transphobic comments. So I had to change up the lyrics a little bit. But we did that song, and after the first verse, it was like everyone at the same time just like cheered super loudly, and like it caught me off guard. And I was just like, whoa, like that's like the biggest applause or like, you know, like cheer we've ever gotten. And so I would say that was probably the highlight for me.
God, have you ever checked out the show after she got fired? You know, that was based on her fictional family.
It's called what?
God, I can't forget. What?
Yeah, is it just called like The Bars or something?
Yeah, no, I forget the name of it, but and I personally never checked it out, but I did like how they start off the show by stating that Roseanne's character straight up died of a morphine overdose. I'm like, wow, that is one way to kill off the character who's really problematic.
Wait, she had an Ambien overdose?
Something like that.
No, but I mean, that would be such a good joke. No, I know, I hadn't actually seen this show since I was like a kid. I know they rebooted it.
I saw the reboot.
Okay.
Yeah, then she did the racist stuff, and then they fired her, and then they rebooted as this new series with her fictional family moving on after she OD'd on morphine.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It didn't last very long after that, which, I mean, you know, how could it? But, yeah, like, it's just so crazy because, like, early on, it was like the show back in the 90s. It was just, like, totally against all the things that she was saying. It was like the show pushed the envelope for things like that.
Yeah, it's a shame what she has become, but
Yeah.
she'll always have a place in my heart, though, for her amazing rendition of the Star Spangled Banner.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. That was like peak Roseanne.
And it ends with her just letting loose a huge fucking fart. Just, moi, perfecto. Comrade Roseanne.
I hope she's changed, and hopefully someday maybe we can change it back to the old song and the old lyrics, but I don't think anything has happened yet to make me want to do that.
So the next EP will be Fuck Yeah, Roseanne.
She redeemed herself.
All right, I say that we should wrap up this wonderful interview. With the new EP out now on Bandcamp, maybe it's a little bit too early, but any major future plans for Fire Ant season?
None yet, other than the tour, which may or may not happen.
It's gotta happen. If we don't go on tour again, then it's over.
Hopefully at some point, yeah. But
Will you try to come to Michigan, where I'm at?
we'd like to. We'd
I'm down.
like to.
But it's gonna be straight shot. We're gonna play in Michigan and maybe one place on the way there. And we're just not gonna be. We can't hit all those other states in between.
No,
We might be able to make Michigan.
We're gonna call it the Garret Schuelke tour.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, that's how you do it.
Yeah, I think we could do it. We're 2 shows to get there, and then play there, and then 2 shows to get back.
No,
That'd actually be more fun than just circle around the South like we.
yeah, I assure you, the Rust Belt of the Midwest has many a delight for you.
Oh no, I love the Midwest.
Yeah, who doesn't?
I mean, aside from Michigan, just Indiana alone, just perfect place to perform. So many exciting places in Indiana.
I mean, we gotta hit up the Bloomington, the classic.
Is that still a good place? Is Bloomington still booming?
Actually, ironically enough, despite being a big folk punk fan, I've never been to Bloomington.
I mean, I would imagine that it maybe is like, you know, it was all the Planet X stuff as it went the way it did.
Yeah.
I
Oof.
I mean, I'd been to Bloomington a few times back in the closer to the glory days, but I have not been in the last 5 or 6 years.
God. Okay, it's kind of off topic, but wow, if you really want to create a shitstorm on folk punk groups, just mention that you like a Ghost Mice record.
Oh yeah.
Chris.
I'm in an awkward position because I have a Ghost Spice record that people are like, and I mean, I don't feel too, but it's like, I see the prices are going to like $300 for some of these records.
Really?
And I don't listen to it. And I'm like, it's time to just sell this thing, but it feels weird that you're like, people are like so in demand that they're like, I need this on vinyl. Like, I have to have this Ghost Spice record.
Yeah, it kind of is like a piece of history. Yeah. But it's really sad how all that like panned out.
Yeah, God, just fucking bummer all around. But I got 2 Ghost Mice CDs. I forget what one of them is called. It just has like a bird on the cover. And I got their split with AJJ.
Oh man, that's big bucks.
Yeah, I have that one too.
Yep. Also, besides Bloomington, if you do come to the Midwest, if you go to Ohio, obviously you must play in Defiance, Ohio.
Of course.
Yeah.
They weren't even from there, right? Like
I don't think so. I've actually...
I'm from Columbus.
Yeah, Defiance is one of my all-time favorite bands, so I actually have researched them a little bit. And yeah, I don't think any of them are from Defiance, Ohio. Matter of fact, it's a pretty small nowhere town.
Well, that's why I was wondering when you said that of like, is there a single folk punk band in Defiance, Ohio?
No, I don't think so. I'm sure there's like some...
There's maybe one, but there's definitely not two. But there's not two.
Kind of like Bloomington, it's kind of something where like a young, starry-eyed folk punker, like in his late teens, early 20s, they'll like take a road trip to on the weekend. They're like, oh, Defiance, Ohio. I love the Great Depression album. Let's go there, see what it's like. No, a pilgrimage. All right, so that's it for fire season. How about any other music projects? Are you guys involved in any?
Not me personal. So Tim is.
I'm in like during the pandemic, my partner and I started I guess it would be like a shoegaze pop punk band called Mousy Kissed, and we've recorded a few things. It does not really sound anything like Fire Ant Season. So, but that's how I split my music time these days.
It's good. It sounds like if you're driving on like a road trip and like it's dusk outside and like you're kind of like tired but also like energized at the same time. It's totally worth checking out.
I think you, Nate, that's a kind description.
That's how I would describe it.
Is that available online? You know, like SoundCamp or SoundCloud?
Yeah,
Wait, did I just say SoundCamp? Bandcamp, god damn it.
Copyrighted.
No, yeah, it's on Bandcamp and Spotify, and it's called Mousy Kissed. My partner came up with the name, but
Mousy
Kissed.
Actually, God, SoundCamp sounds like something that, you heard about Bandcamp getting acquired by the video game producer?
Yeah, Epic Games, yeah.
Yeah, don't they do Fortnite?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Start SoundCamp, though.
Yeah, that SoundCamp sounds like something that, an angry musician on Bandcamp who's a Minecraft fanboy gets pissed off about. Be like, I don't want my music on this platform. Well, I'll show them.
Absolutely, it needs to happen.
God, I really hope Bandcamp stays the way it is. I really do. Not only because I generally enjoy the platform, and well, I have my own music project that I plan on putting out my first album this summer, and yeah, it's gonna kind of suck if they like change it so much by then that no one wants to be on it.
What's your project called?
Oh, allow me to do some self-promotion on my own podcast.
Yeah, gotta tell what's it's called and what does it sound like. You gotta know this.
All right. It's called Neo Beat Glory, all one word, and it's a music project that I create music by utilizing free samples from public domain music samples from like freesound.org and other sources.
Nice.
And well, it's multi-genre. Obviously, that's why I call it a music project, because I'm really digging into like my favorite genres, influenced by my favorite bands and singers. So the first album, which I plan on calling I Hate Living in the Future, is gonna be a punk industrial record. And I'm almost done with it. I got like 3 more songs to record.
Nice. That's really cool.
All right, I did my self-promo there. And now it's the end of the podcast. Tim, Nathan, I believe it's time for you guys to do some self-promotion.
We've been doing it for an hour now.
Yeah, I feel like we've given all that we've got.
Kind listeners, please go to Bandcamp while it's still there and type in Fire Ant Season and check out the new EP.
We do have some tapes if you want to buy a tape. There's only like 80-something left, I think. But they're probably not going anywhere for a while.
Hotcakes.
So, I mean, yeah, they're selling like hotcakes.
Come on, have a little bit more faith in yourselves. You gotta believe. Like Parappa the Rapper would say.
Exactly, yeah.
Kick, punch, it's all on the mind.
Guy, okay, can you imagine if they made like a similar game, but like instead of hip hop and then the next one, Jammer Lammy was like rock? Can you imagine if they did something similar but with like folk punk?
Yeah, that's actually a really good idea. And I mean, I think we might try that. We'll see.
Fire Ant Season's gonna delve into game development then.
I think so. We'll try it out.
And so, like, for real, Tim has made like 6 or 7 games, and they look like old PlayStation games.
Oh, okay. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Just an odd coincidence for the combo.
Go for it.
Actually make games. If you want to go look on Twitch, on Itch.io, his name is Vapor
Shark Games.
Oh yeah, Vapor Shark Games.
All right, nice.
All right. It has done soundtracks for one of the games.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. All right, wow, I believe that's the end of the interview then.
Yeah, that's all we got.
Yeah.
Everything else is just...
Yeah, folks, this has been the Garret Schuelke podcast. Had a great time talking with Nathan and Tim of Fire Ant Season. Please check them out. I love these guys, and Bad Habits, excellent EP. And, well, that's it, folks. Guys, thanks for coming on.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. And thank you, folks, for listening. Here is the outro song.
I don't want to leave my room. Don't want to have to talk to my roommate. No, I don't want to speak to him. Just want to get what I need and then leave it to pile up in my room with the dirty laundry and dishes and the mold that'll multiply. Will outnumber all the growth I've had in my whole life. But it's not that I have ill will towards him or anyone that I'm greeting. I just have a propensity for small talk and the desire for leaving any interpersonal interaction that'll find myself engaged at. A timer starts ticking in my head, a countdown to having a panic attack. I really want to change my ways and develop myself and be flourishing, but I'm afraid for any change of any personal growth is required of me. There's a comfort in remaining dormant, where the path is least resistant. If I could only overcome that persistent feeling of stagnating, my brand of procrastination is one defined by overthinking, to the point where nothing ever gets done, and the smallest task is overwhelming. But just because I've acted this way for as long as I can remember, that doesn't mean I have to keep up with this dialogue of character.